Yes, people, what is happening? Welcome back to McLaren Fan TV, MFTV, where we're going to discuss what was the Japanese Grand Prix. Was it a good result or was there stuff left on the table? I'm joined with my co-host Mahad from the Pit Stop Fracco. What's going on, brother?
I'm all good, man. I'm not as happy as you after yesterday, but still doing good. Still keeping the podium streak alive. It's been a good start to the season overall.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, all of you guys in the chat that are currently watching us right now. Make sure to smash like on the video because we're talking all things McLaren. If you're a McLaren fan, do the honors. And if you ain't subbed to the channel, which I don't know if you noticed this on YouTube, right, Mahad, but the amount of people that watch content that don't sub to that channel is hilarious. It's crazy. So, guys, get subbing. There's a lot of you that are watching us that are not subbing.
Don't let me start exploring the metrics on this channel.
Exactly. Oh, if we get busy with that, we can dissect for a long time.
Yes,
before we get into the comment section, shout out to everybody that's there right now. What's your headline? Just like if you were to just put just like on a newspaper, your headline for the weekend. What is yours? What would yours say? And in the chat,
Lose Fest Suzuka. And we got different opinions on this, but for me, waking up at 6 a.m. to watch that, no, they're violating, man. That was basically Monaco.
That was basically a Monaco.
Even Monaco has more strategy than that because at least the tires dig. You can do an undercut, overcut.
So, talk to me. Has Suzuka always been like this? Have I missed something? Because I felt the exact same way. I definitely got Monaco vibes in this. In that you qualify on pole, you're not losing this race. Yeah. For example. So, like, has that always been the thing? Is it the new regulations as the cars are they too wide? The whole dirty air thing, is it that?
I think it's a combination of everything, but at least with Japan before, you could do a little bit of strategy, offsets of the tires, overcut, undercut type of thing. But one thing is that was different from this Grand Prix to the other Japanese Grand Prix is that they resurfaced the track and then didn't change the tires accordingly. So they resurfaced the track brand new, so it's smooth as glass, and then they still brought the hardest compounds in the range. So then when people are driving on the track, their tires weren't digging. Everybody could have just the tires they started with, they could have ended with. They didn't need to do a pit stop. So that's on Pirelli for not bringing the right tires. They have to recognize, they resurfaced the track. Let's go one step softer. So then we can at least have some strategy to play with. Apart from that, I think that was a Monaco type race where you qualified. Look, if you was in the top 6, in one position, there was only one overtake in the top 10.
Madness.
So basically, where you qualified is where you ended.
I think the top 6 didn't change. There was like you say, one change.
Let me tell you a stat. You need a 1.4 second delta to do overtake.
1.4
second delta to get an overtake done. You need to be 1.4 seconds quicker than the guy in front of you.
That's ridiculous, man. That's just ridiculous.
And that's not a race.
That's not a race. That's just it's a procession. That's what we had.
And then we already know how big these cars are and what type of track this is. It's not like it's wide.
No.
So that's what we got. So whatever you did on Saturday, you got punished on the Sunday.
Yeah. My headline is someone needs to be on a disciplinary at McLaren. So as much as you're saying, we had kind of different opinions about the race, I think this season what I'm noticing, I don't know whether I'm just so engrossed in it now, but I watched the race and I'm just like, I'm not trying to get entertained, if that made sense. I'm just sort of like, I'm watching it and I'm like, just making notes of what happened. And before you know it, like you've got like 2-3 pages of it. And you're just like, right, okay, cool. So that's what happened. Was it entertaining? When you look back was it entertaining? No, absolutely not.
I don't know how you got 3 pages of it.
A5 paper. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear, by the way. But yeah, little notepad, whatever. But then, so that's what I noticed about. And don't forget, I think Australia was so crazy that there's a lot of people who have expected things to follow suit. Or when we went to China, Lewis Hamilton winning the sprint, that's another whole thing to talk about. The fact that Oscar got his win in the Chinese Grand Prix in the end, that's another thing to talk about. You know, we've had 3-4 different race winners since the start, and now Max Verstappen, really, you know, many people calling it Magnificent Max. I certainly did, but I'm not ignorant enough to say that McLaren dropped the ball. We dropped the ball on Sunday, and arguably on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
No, I'll say Saturday more. I say Saturday more than Sunday because I was very livid about Sunday for a couple of days, and then I heard Mark Hughes from the race kind of like go through the kind of strategy options. Yeah, and basically there was no option. There was no strategy option that would have worked. That would have leapfrogged Verstappen. So that's the kind of race you're in. So therefore, it's kind of like having that realization. Oh yeah, you was punished on the Saturday because if you pitted early, if you pitted Lando early, you'd be stuck behind Behrman, and then you wouldn't be ahead of Max. If you pitted it, if you told it just to go long, then I think there was more risk of. This is just me paraphrasing. It was like the highest percentage chance that you're going to be behind Piastri and even be behind Leclerc if you stayed out, and you definitely be behind Max. So all the timings didn't work out, basically.
So I guess Saturday was more.
And then obviously the 1.4 second thing made the whole swapping Oscar and Lando at the end a dumb idea because it just won't work anyway.
Well, we'll dissect that as the show goes on. This is the comment section time, though. People that have been leaving comments, you guys make
Shout
sure
out to everybody.
Absolutely. And you all of you that are watching right now, do smash like on the video, honestly, so that it helps us get to more McLaren fans, more McLaren people around the world. Shout out to Ella, says, hi guys, glad I didn't waste my money on this year's Japanese tickets. It was a snooze fest. People in my group chat said that they were there and almost fell asleep.
That would have been insane. Imagine going there and watching that. That would have been insane.
And it's up there with one of the most expensive trips, isn't it? When it comes to the Grand Prix circuit, like it's one of the expensive ones going to Japan.
Yeah, man. I definitely want to go one day, just because obviously I want to go to Japan. But like for that, it's a bit of a stinker still.
It's a bit of a stinky. Ella continues to say, was quite frustrated that we didn't get the win last week, but damage was done on Saturday. So there was nothing we could do. But the positive is we got the most points. Hope we can keep the momentum. Yeah, McLaren got the most points on the weekend.
Yeah, and I think when they go into a weekend, from a constructor's point of view, that's the objective, isn't it?
I'll tell you what's interesting.
That's how we left with that's how we won the construction last year. The focus was let's get the most points.
Yeah, absolutely. What I find interesting is the same podium in 2023 in Japan.
Yeah, remember.
And look at the feelings of both. When you think about how we felt in 23, obviously we were on the up, but in 23 we were just delighted to get those points, to get the double podium finish, waxing lyrical. This time, and I don't want to repeat this because I think we've done it forever, right? Look how far we've come, blah 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 blah. But we are annoyed about a double podium finish in Japan where we drop the ball in some cases. You know what I mean?
Standards are higher now.
But we're
living different. You're eating caviar every week. When you don't get caviar, you're upset. This is the reality now. So
it was a beans on toast session. Do you know what I mean? That's just what it was.
Remember, celebrate. I'll bring up the streams. P10, fantastic. We got double points, guys. I'll pull up those streams. But at the end of the day, we've gone from the hunter to the hunted. So if we want to keep the momentum alive, we're still in the lead of both championship when you look at it. Even if it's 1 by 1 point in the championship for the drivers.
Yeah.
We just have to kind of just keep the momentum going. I feel like we haven't lost momentum when you think about it. So, and we're not like dropping podiums.
No, we're not dropping podiums, no.
Apart from Oscar not being in the podium in Australia, I think we've been on a good roll here. So it's about stringing results together, and if it's a 2-3, it's a 2-3. It's one of those ones.
It is one of those ones, man.
If that same thing happened in qualifying in Monaco, nobody would be saying anything. We were just like, they fumbled.
Yeah.
And it should be treated that way considering the scenario. And if we're going to drop a result, I don't want to drop it and end up 6th and 8th or something like that. where you fumble or end up with a DNF or something like that. If you're gonna fumble with a 2-3.
Yeah, fumble this way. That's for damn
That's
sure.
literally literally the second best thing you can do.
Yeah, it is. It simply is. And at least, and thank God it was Max Verstappen. Like, had it been a Ferrari driver, had it been a Mercedes driver, I would have been livid. I'd have been livid because
if you're Oscar Orlando, then you'd be upset because you drop points to Verstappen. Didn't you?
True, yeah, true. But I think like had it was, but you know, you dropped it to Verstappen. But then like if Charles Leclerc won the race, I'd be thinking, how have we let Charles Leclerc win a race? You know, at this period of time where Ferrari are, where we are. Because I think the question everyone is asking is, hang on a minute, McLaren should be gone. Oh, by the way, congratulations, McLaren, on winning the Constructors' Championship in 2025. It's over.
You can't say that now, man. Over. We're in April, man. We're in April.
No. I'm going to be outlandish. It's over. The
we don't know what's going to happen.
The Constructors' Championship is done.
Let's build a 100-point gap at least, man, before we start saying things like that.
What are we on now? Is it
36?
Okay, it's only 36. But listen, we're gone. Mercedes, with all due respect to Kimi Antonelli, they've got one guy that's going to be really collecting a lot of points. We'll see how Antonelli gets on. I'm loving what he's doing at the moment, but one driver. Red Bull, one driver. Ferrari, eating each other's points. Not even like them and there are going to be. We'll see how far they can progress. But those are your three people.
In terms of constructors, we need to put everybody in the dirt. Or at least Barcelona when them new technical regulations come in.
Oh, for sure.
We have to put everybody in the dirt.
No,
if we're going to win constructors, you need to build up whatever gap we need. 150 points, whatever, 100 points. You need it now. Right now, in April, 3 races in, we can't see this. I'm sorry.
I'll see you.
It. No,
I'll see you in Barcelona then when it's done. I'm telling you, this is done, guys.
Okay, if it's by Barcelona and it's 100 plus points, I'm saying it's done. I'm okay.
It's done. You know what I mean? It's done. Let me get to the rest of these comments because a lot of you have been putting in the chat. Big up yourselves. Stefan Williams, I hope you're doing well. Happy with a double podium finish. Could be maybe I've tried something different with strategy, but the damage was done on Saturday. Still big points in the bag. Yeah, Saturday, you know, Adam's going, it's the same thing. Damage was done on Saturday. We didn't deliver, and Max did. But a double podium, still leading both championships and on to the next race. That's the thing. Like, you know, we're there. I think, what's Lando? What's the Lando situation? Is it 1 point?
Lando's 1 point ahead of Max Verstappen.
1 point.
This Max Verstappen's an alien. Why the hell is he even involved?
Yeah, why is he here? Why is it? But you know, you was talking about Mercedes and you know Russell of this world. But I was saying to you, I was like, nah, Max, man, that guy scares me, man. He worries me. And you know what's
Russell's
funny?
Still there. Russell's like what?
Russell's there.
Fourth, fifth, whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It wasn't outlandish. No, what you said wasn't outlandish. But like Cameron texted me, right? Shout out to Cam. He literally was like, he saw my prediction video, predicting that I predicted Max on pole. So he was like, "Did you put a bet down? Because apparently it was 18-1." I said, "What?
You should have put a bet down, man."
The guy said, but he was angry. I think
you should have put a bet down. Should have put a bet
angry.
down.
He was angry with me.
Max Verstappen pole position.
But no, 18-1 is insanity.
That's crazy odds.
He's the 4-time world champion.
Bookie's taking the piss.
He's the 4-time world champion.
To me personally, if it ain't Lando or Oscar getting a pole, he's the first name.
100%.
That I'm choosing out of everybody else that's going to get pole. So 100%. 18-1 is nuts. They must have thought like that. But so right now, Lando Norris 62 points, Max Verstappen 61 points, Oscar Piastri 49 points. That's tough.
Okay. So Oscar's is in the conversation, which is good. I'm glad that he's still there. I'm glad he's still there. Drea says, first of all, hello, Drea. I hope you're doing well. Max's lap of a lifetime, fair play, but it was painful for us. I believe that 8 out of 10 times we would have the front row lockout. You don't see perfect laps often. 2 things. Are people saying this is Max's like phenomenal, brilliant, you know, kind of lap of a lifetime, for example? Are they saying that because they think the Red Bull is as bad as what we're seeing? Because I don't know what you lot think, yeah? The Red Bull's not that bad. I don't know what you lot are thinking. And the reason I'm saying this, right? Because on one hand, we said, why the hell is Max here? he's Lando's alien, right? But I'm thinking to myself, Max is proving what that Red Bull can do. Does that make sense?
If Max goes a certain speed and puts it on pole, for example, that is the theoretical capability of that car.
Right.
That's the maximum speed you could do in that car.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's degrees of how you exploit how fast your car is, isn't it? Max Verstappen exploited the car 100% in that qualifying session.
Yeah.
Our drivers did not exploit the car 100%. Right?
Yes.
So it's a combination of somebody. So therefore, the performance and the lap is very, very good. Right? If their window is that narrow that you cannot exploit it that many times or that frequently, then obviously it's a lesser of a car than our car, because our car, we could tap into it quite easily.
Yes.
These lot, every single Friday, they're fighting for their lives to set up the car. And it's only in Q3 that this car is sorted out.
Yeah.
So they're every single time they have to do all this madness to get the car set up in the right window. And for other teams, it's easier. Mercedes is easier. McLaren is easier. So, but it's a phenomenal lap because he put the car where it was supposed to be. So theoretically, in that window, that car could be the fastest car, second fastest car. I don't think it's the fastest car. I think it's the second fastest car, but the window is too narrow. That's why Mercedes have been pipping him to the post. But if you look at Max Verstappen's result, he's always there, in it. Because one, he's a phenomenal driver. Secondly, the car isn't that bad when it's completely set up properly.
Yeah. Because I know Yuki Tsunoda and obviously Lawson and then Perez last year. It gives the impression that actually Max is going beyond the car, which doesn't necessarily make sense. But I understand what they mean when they say that, but it doesn't actually make sense. Like Max is showing us
exploiting a car that's difficult,
basically, and he's better at doing that. But the other thing as well is that as Dre's put here, look, 8 out of 10 times we're going to be on the front row. We're going to lock the front row.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And we don't see perfect laps often. I thought last season was a year of ironing out mistakes, or a year of like, look, make your mistakes now, and we don't have to worry about that next season, hopefully, right? I've seen both our drivers not capitalize on Saturday. Not one, but both.
You know me, I'm stern African dad. We are 3 races into the season. Both these strikers are on 2 strikes. Both these drivers are on 2 strikes.
Can you imagine?
Regarding mistakes. But again, this is a new car. If they were making the same car, if last year's car characteristics was exactly the same as this year's car, then these mistakes are unacceptable because you already know how to drive that car. But this car with the upgrades is a completely different feel. It's a whole different situation, and the car drivers are just adjusting to it. I wouldn't accept these mistakes if they were later in the season. If you already driven this car for 10 races and you know what it's about, I ain't accepting these mistakes about not getting on pole when you're supposed to be on pole, right? And the goalposts have changed. We spoke about that last year. I said last year I'm gonna let you guys off.
Yeah, we did. We said that.
This is your first car that's like a race-winning car proper. I'm gonna let you off with any type of mistakes you do. This year, though, I'm gonna give them a little bit of a grace at the beginning of the season as they get used to the car. But if we're like in Monza and you're doing that, I'm not having it.
Straight fire.
In reality, if you look at the optimal laps, we should have had a front row locker. But both drivers didn't do what they needed to do. But let's say, for example, Lando pushed the car to the limit.
Yeah.
In his first run in Q3, he dipped it in the gravel. In turn 6 or between turn 6 and turn 7. Because he was trying to push it to the limit. He was trying to get that wonder lap. You know what Max did, basically. He tried to do that in that car. He tried to rev it to 100s.
He did.
Tried to give it 100% lap. Then he realized, oh, I can't do that because I'm going to end up at P5. So let me just dial it back a bit. Let me go 90% on this lap. So then he did that on the second lap, got a purple sector sector 1, lifted at turn 6 when no driver was lifting. I don't know why he lifted. So you're losing time there where you could have gone faster in sector 2. And then sector 3, last chicane, didn't do what he needed to do in terms of lining that up properly. And then apparently he pressed the DRS button too late on the straight bit.
On a doing thing.
Yeah.
or
Jack Doohan pressed it too
early.
quickly, man. He didn't let go. He just carried on. So
By the
obviously,
way,
that's a 90% lap. Jack Doohan, no, that's unacceptable.
Fair enough. Like,
But thank God he's okay.
oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, thank God he is okay, to be fair. Dre goes on to say, look, no, the Red Bull was the second fastest, but this lap was on the edge, perfect, with a lot of risks. He said himself he lost it nearly 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. And Lando didn't want to do that.
No.
Lando was, that's why he kind of withheld it back. Maybe dialed it back a little bit too much. And then with Oscar, straight away, turn 2. Done his lap. He was 3 tenths down on Norris. By the second corner, he was down. And then he got purple sector 2, purple sector 3. I'm like, bro, it's too late.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because, like, the numbers.
And his theoretical lap should have been pole by 1/10.
Correct.
It should have been clear.
He should have been gone. He should have been gone. I was there. I was watching quali and I said, yo, Oscar's ready. Like, here we go. Let's do this. And then, boom. That's what he's gone and done. Dre goes on to say, I don't think the McLaren is too easy either. If they go to the edge, they make mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes last year, but the car is more difficult. But that car last year was more difficult. Yeah, literally agreeing more or less with what you've been saying there. Okay, so you're giving them a bit of grace. When do we start having questions though?
I'm still counting the strikes. I don't give a damn.
You're counting the strikes, okay.
But you have to, like, this weekend, obviously, it's Bahrain.
Yeah.
It's important, man.
Oh, the home one.
This is important.
What,
man.
you mean the circuit we've never done pole or the circuit we've never won? That one.
Yes. It's very important. Our home race, our home circuit.
Yeah, I did. I just recorded a preview of the Bahrain Grand Prix, and I was looking at the numbers. Yeah, I'm sitting there saying, "Hang on a minute, how's McLaren never got a pole or a win?"
At least we've been racing it for ages. And we used to race it when it was racing in the day. Do you remember those times when they used to race Bahrain in the daytime?
That's what I'm saying.
People are getting heat stroke.
Well, we've been racing in Bahrain before Hamilton was at McLaren. We've been racing at. I mean, when I saw the first winner was Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari, I said, nah, "Hang on a minute, wait a minute. We've been here for ages. Like, Bahrain has had a long stint,
and the Bahrainis have been involved in McLaren since 2007. So,
oh my God, since 2007,
we ain't delivered them nothing.
We're giving them nothing. Couple podiums.
Nothing. Since 2007. Oh my God! But
rubbish.
So this is the difference. I think this weekend showed the difference between a Max Verstappen level driver and where our drivers are now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
100%.
And they need to analyze and have a look at that and be like, okay, what did he do that we can't do as a driver, right?
Yeah.
Although Max Verstappen is very alien-like, he doesn't. And one thing about Max Verstappen, obviously every driver makes mistakes, but this guy is a robot, man.
Yeah, he is.
Right?
He is.
So, and the hallmark of a champion is to minimize mistakes.
Yeah.
So both of these drivers have to do that, man. And to rise to the occasion when it happens. So when it's time to put the Q3 lap in, put the Q3 lap in.
Yeah. This is the real. This is it. You're at the stage now.
We could all talk. Remember before, we're like, oh, if our drivers get the car they need, they can win races, they can win a championship, right?
Yep.
We're here now.
Yeah.
Years and years, drivers will not have a car that can win races. We're talking about, if I get that car, I can do this, that. It's show and prove now. So,
but you know what?
It might be difficult to drive, but the car will win you a championship.
It's one thing I've learned, I think, in the last couple of years is that having the fastest. So when you said that sentence there, if you give them the car that they need to win the race, to be champion, let me say, I've never thought of the fact that the fastest car is not going to be the most comfortable car.
Never is.
When you say, let's give Oscar or Lando the car that they need to go and win races. It might be the car that they need to win, but it's not going to be the car that they're going to find comfortable to do. That's where you find the elite, like meet their level. Because when you're constantly winning, and you're doing titles in a row and you're doing race wins in a row, that really separates you from the pack. Because anybody like it, what season was it? 2012, where we had like 7 different winners in the first 7 races. It was a brilliant season, but nobody's car was perfect at all. Nobody's car was, and when I say perfect, I mean there was no clear out and out fastest car. I don't think, because I think the McLaren was superb, but then Alonso was dragging that Ferrari. Vettel was still in that Red Bull at the end of the day. Mark Webber still got race wins. So
Raikkonen,
Kimi, what in the Lotus? You know. So when you're seeing what Max is doing and what he has been doing, because remember he jumped into that Red Bull when it was smelling. The Red Bull stunk when he joined, and he still got race win in his first year, in his first race. No.
First race at Red Bull.
At Red Bull,
Obviously, he was at Toro Rosso before that.
No, sorry, I meant at Red Bull because he was at the mid-season switch. Obviously, I think the Mercedes took themselves out. They did what they could to lose that race, and then happy days for Max. But it goes to show that as much as because us as McLaren fans have been waiting for a car. I mean, what's the last good car we had before this era?
2012.
Exactly. Well, there you go then. So we've waited 13 years.
We had top driver lineups. We had Button and Alonso.
Yeah.
We gave them a pack of mid.
A 12 pack. You know what I mean? Like it was.
But if Alonso and Button had this car right now, they wouldn't say the car doesn't suit me.
They would not be saying none of that.
They'll be like, just let me drive. Give me a fast car.
Just let it be fast. We'll do the rest.
And that's what these guys are going to have to do now. Oscar and Lando are going to have to adapt and be like, okay, let me just deal with it. Because one thing I think it's very rare to have a perfect car that suits you.
Yeah. I don't remember once. Max...
But if you get the choice, to have a fast car, just you bite their end off.
Oh, yes. Do you want a car that you're comfortable with, or do you want a car that's And that's what makes you a world champion or not. You're right. If Button is in this car now, if Alonso is in this car now, of that year, even Alonso now probably in this era is winning races with this McLaren.
Yeah, and I think, I think they're doing that most of the time anyway. It's just about ironing these mistakes because you got an apex predator in your mirrors, man.
Yeah.
If you make one mistake, Max is there. He's gonna eat you alive.
Yeah, you can't let him be.
So it's not one of those situations. Like I was actually on the pit stop pod the other day, and my boy Martz made a good point. He said, in 2014, if Rosberg and Hamilton had another car that was just even a little bit similar pace around them, they would have been eaten alive. Them two beefing each other or making mistakes, whatever. When it was okay because the other guy will pick it up.
Yeah.
If Rosberg made a mistake, Hamilton will win the race. If Hamilton makes a mistake, Rosberg will win the race, right?
Yeah.
If there was a third guy in the picture, you get eaten alive. Right now, we got a third guy in the mirrors.
Who was it supposed to be in 2014?
I don't know, man. I remember the Ferrari was the Red Bull was terrible.
The Red Bull was it was the first year of it being terrible. We didn't realize it was going to be this bad. I think Ferrari were kind of like used to them being bad. I think it was the Red Bull. That was Vettel's last year, right? Second to last year, whatever it was at Red Bull.
It's like if you've got somebody there, it's not even like a Max of before the titles. This is a Max now that's got 4 titles. He knows everything.
Yeah. He's done it all, hasn't he?
He's done it all. So it doesn't matter if he doesn't have the fastest car or not.
Yeah.
He's waiting for you guys that haven't experienced that to slip up.
Shout out to Sarah Harris. What's going on? Hope you're good, Sarah. This fifth fastest car gimmick from Red Bull fans is so boring.
They're telling me the Racing Bull's faster. It's not.
Of course not.
Let's not do this.
If you think I'm going to believe that, then it's crazy.
It's easier to set up. It's easier to extract whatever you need. But when they're both at maximum, there's no way. Let's not do this.
Let me do some quick comments because I wanted to actually. We haven't even got into our topics yet. I want to make sure. Shout out to him. It's already
playing in a minute. My team's playing in a minute.
Champions League action, man. It doesn't stop. Amos says at least Peter had Arsenal to help him forget about the race. Do you know what? Like, I've had a good week. Let's put it that way. Honcho says, man, I can't wait for Imola with our big upgrade package and Spain, new wing rules, and for us, to be 1 point behind Sweet Norris, boy, is even funnier and scary. You need to hold it down, Honcho. Yeah, I take it now. I take it you're a Red Bull man. Yeah, to bring it home.
They're getting an upgrade in Imola.
Let's see. Let's wait and see what that looks like.
Honcho. I remember I saw Red Bulls bring in major upgrades like 4 or 5 times last year. Didn't do nothing.
Niche.
Didn't move one. Didn't even move an inch. So why would you be happy about upgrade package now?
Yeah,
You didn't move an inch last year with several upgrades.
Exactly.
And guess what? Well, I love about being a McLaren fan. I ain't heard nothing about no upgrades. So guess what? It's just gonna come out of nowhere.
It's got bang. Yeah, exactly.
Bang.
The secret weapon. Our secret weapon, Mr. Andrea Stella, but he knows what time it is, man. Don't worry about that. Z says, hi, everyone. Shout out to Nomvoyu. Hope you're doing well. Rosa says, hi, everyone.
Shout out to you, Rosa.
Hi, Bonzo. What's going on? The Oracle. Lads, I'm going to be honest. I can't comment on the race itself. I was out cold. First race I missed since I started watching F1. Thank God for it.
You missed nothing. I don't know how they got 8 minutes of highlight. I don't even know. When I checked YouTube and I was like, how long the highlights were. From time I saw, the starting grid. You know where they're doing national anthem and that.
Yeah.
How you putting that in the highlights? That's how I know the race is dead.
National anthem was on the highlights.
Yeah.
Yo, the national anthem made the highlights.
I saw them on the grid doing the grid walk on that, and I was like, "Yo, why is that in the race highlights?" That's how you know nothing happened.
What's it? Nonvoyu says, "Do you know what? Do you know what it is? Yeah, the reason I don't feel bored with these Formula One races. Yeah, have you watched the Premier League lately?
Yes.
Has anyone watched the Premier League lately? Yeah,
I am nasty.
I am bored out of my mind with Premier League football right now. I am involved in the Formula One. I'm checking everything.
United City. That was what a product that is.
Lord have mercy. That was horrific. Everton Arsenal was horrific. Let's be very clear, man. I watched that game earlier in the day. I was like, no, not a chance. Like after quali, I watched the Everton game. Oh man,
that's what I'm saying. So Formula One's exciting right now.
Formula One's, hey, I take it.
Especially when my team's up front. My team, every race I go into it now, I'm thankful because my team is either going to be on pole or they're going to win the race.
Exactly.
I don't want to get arrogant, but I don't need to watch Q1, Q2. I don't need to.
Oh, love that. Love that. Z says, bored out of my mind. Federico, what's going on?
Hello.
Saying hi, everyone. Ryan P, we seem to be the only team to prioritize the constructors over the drivers. Holy smokes, there's the first shot. Bang, there it is. What do you think of this comment? We're the only team to prioritize the constructors.
If you see Drive to Survive, yeah, I always like to look at the interactions between Zach Brown and his boss. You know who I'm talking about?
The big dog. What's his name?
Big dog.
I forget his name.
He's the McLaren Group guy.
You know this McLaren Group. I just noticed at another level. We're not talking Formula One.
Not McLaren Racing. McLaren Group. Yeah.
When I start hearing that talk, that's what I'm like. Okay.
When it's that fella, that's who signs the checks.
Is it David or something? I forgot his name now. McLaren.
Paul Walsh, chairman.
Oh, Paul Walsh,
executive chairman. Yeah.
Imagine.
When Paul Walsh has a word with him, Paul Walsh is saying, "We need to win constructors."
Yeah. Straight in. That's the first thought in his
They're
mind.
not. And I think this is very much a McLaren thing sometimes. Yeah. Like, you better win constructors right now because in this climate of McLaren, you need constructors because it's revenue.
Yeah.
You don't get no revenue from winning the drivers, right?
Yeah.
And I think they very much even said it from last year. Drivers is up to the drivers. If you want to win drivers, go do your thing. The ball is in your court. We've provided you the vehicle to win races. Go do your thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's another team that's across the paddock called Red Bull that prioritizes drivers over constructors.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that for a while, right?
For time, yeah.
Because if they don't, Max Verstappen's out the door. Max Verstappen's got by the balls.
Hear the language, Mahad.
He's the gaffer. He's the boss. Max Verstappen's the boss of that team.
Hear the language when a driver joins Red Bull. He's here to help Max Verstappen win the title. What are we talking about?
That's not how a Formula One team should be running. That's outrageous.
That was literally Yuki Tsunoda's press run for entering Red Bull. Was that he's here to help Max.
Max to help develop the car.
Sorry.
So, like,
No.
but if you go to Ferrari, the drivers are employees. They're part of the whole team. If you go to McLaren, they're employees. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they're the same as everybody else. Obviously, it's kind of that organizational mind hive type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So therefore,
I know it too well. I know it too well,
the thousands of man hours that these people are doing building this car.
Yeah.
Look at the people that designed it. Everybody, look at the thousands of people that work at McLaren, right?
Yeah.
Constructors is their bonus. They're part of this. They're the one that built that car. They're the people that designed that car. They're the people that set up that car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
They are the ones, yeah. They're the ones.
And obviously, McLaren and Ferrari, they're not selling energy drinks, are they? They're selling cars. So they need the car with the constructors.
Say that again?
They're not selling energy drinks, are they? McLaren and Ferrari.
No.
They're selling cars.
Yeah.
So they need to with the constructors.
That's the bottom line. You see what's happening at Aston Martin, and what they're having to do to navigate money, to move money around. You know what I mean? Look at what they're getting up to.
But we were in a very financial precarious situation 5 years ago, COVID times.
Oh yeah,
McLaren nearly ceased to exist. Right?
People were laid off.
If they do, if it's a case of they prioritize constructors over drivers, they're basically saying constructors leads the drivers title. Do you think?
More or less, yeah. that there's the priorities are different in different places. That's the truth of the matter. And yeah, to Ryan's point, that might be the case. I mean, we might be the only ones who do so, and possibly Ferrari. Dion says, "Afternoon, young man. What's going on? Joining a little late. Was looking forward to seeing this conversation. As someone else said, it's hard to beat when someone does a perfect lap. We screwed up the strategy." Interesting. Because I do want to get into that. Let's get into. We're going to split this up into the drivers, right? Let's start off with Mr. Lando Norris. You know, was he slower than Oscar, or was he just preserving? Was it one of them ones where, look, this is what it is, and we just need to chill and relax. I don't need to do anything.
What do you think?
I'll tell you what
What did you giggle?
He knew the race was over when he got out of the pit. When he got out of the pit and he tried to lawnmower his way through Max Verstappen, that was a guy who said, "This race is done. I need to try the wickedest thing right now. Just anything to just." Everyone's blaming the strategy or the pit wall. They're blaming them for not risking, not doing something that's gonna like make Red Bull think or force them into a mistake. Try something different. Do something with Oscar different to Lando. It was all kind of like conservative, more or less. Lando Norris said, "Bun it, I'm going for it. If the car hits the wall, it hits the wall. I'm forcing this." That's what that told me. So I don't think he had the pace at all to overtake Max Verstappen, and I don't think Oscar had it either. Don't think he had it either.
I definitely think Lando was pitted, and he was like, "Oh, Rob, Max is going in as well. It's over. I can't overtake him." And then he realized, oh, they had a slow stop. Oh, side by side. Oh, let me try to do a thing.
The pit stop was a howler because the fact that were we a second faster than Red Bull in the pit?
Yeah, I think Red Bull had a 3.3 stop. We had a 2.2.
That tells you everything you needed to know, mate. And I think you're right. Yeah, I think when Lando pits and he's like, "Rob, Max is pitting as well." It's like, yeah, race done. This race is over. When heading into, when they hit the pit limiter in the pit lane, that's when he found out he lost that race. That's when he found out Max won the race.
He's behind Max and he's like, "Oh, raw."
He's like, "I'm behind Max in the pit limiter. Yeah, it's over. I've got to do something crazy." And I don't even think
I think he should have went. I think it was a bad decision to go on the grass. I think he should have just stayed up right behind him and just, for God forbid, something happens when you're putting pressure on him. You're going to be within DRS. You're going to be directly behind him. Stay close to him for the outlap and see what happens. You left that pit lane after the grass thing with a bigger gap than you did when you entered.
Yeah.
Because you went on the grass.
Yeah. It's never a good idea to go on the grass. Because let's say for argument's sake, he overtakes him when he's on the grass. That's not allowed.
Yeah, no. So what was his plan?
No, he had head loss. That's the head. Like we need that. You know, the disciplinary I was talking about is this man right here. He needs to be he needs to be sat down and asked these questions, because there is no scenario we can paint where that move made sense. Now, he could just turn around and say, look, Pete, I was angry. I was fuming because I pitted behind Max in the pit stop and I just lost it. I had a moment of head loss. Do you know what? All sins are forgiven. You 10 grand fine. We'll put it into the after
10
party.
grand fine. What kind of operation you running over there?
Listen,
if you was running McLaren, you're giving fines. Oh, you didn't put the lap together, Oscar. 10 grand fine. Lando, you didn't put the lap together. 10 grand fine.
We're all gonna have it at the end of the season. Drinks. That's what's gonna happen at the end of the season. Right. We're having a little party. It's in the kitty. It's in the kitty. It's not getting into my back pocket.
Do you want to hear what Andrea Stella said?
What did he have to say about this?
About who was faster out of Oscar and Lando? Ooh. He said, Stella explains McLaren's decision making. I don't think it's so clear that Oscar was faster, explains Stella, when they were asked about swapping positions. I think Lando was trying to get in Max's slipstream even closer, but anytime you went below 1 second, there was a significant loss of grip. So then Lando was doing a little bit of a elastic today, trying to cool down the tires a little bit, then go fast again. So I don't think the situation that we should judge on face value in terms of what the pace was of the cars. So basically, and on the pit wall, they got more information than we do.
100%. We don't know what we're talking about. Let's have it right, yeah? So he's saying basically, let's say we switch Oscar and Lando. So Oscar then gets one second behind Max in the slipstream, in the DRS. But would his tires have grained as well? Would there have been no grip? Would there have been a case of like, look, the same problem Lando had, Oscar would have had? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, they're basically saying the dirt would have finished you.
Would have finished him. Yeah, do you know what? Because of the behavior of the cars, like Oscar wanted to get ahead of Lando. Let's just have that. Let's get that out of the way. Because as much as I don't think Oscar thinks genuinely he would have beaten Max had he been let through, but I genuinely think he wants to obviously finish ahead of Lando this year. And it's not a team game like it was last year. Yo, let's beat Ferrari, let's beat Red Bull, let's beat them man together. No. I need to single now. I need to beat Norris and I need to beat Max. If I've got the opportunity to beat them, let me beat them. And Oscar, for me, I think would have definitely finished P2 I
don't think he'll. Let's say they switch positions.
Maybe not.
Hypothetically, if they switch positions, maybe I'm crazy, but there's no incentive to give the position back to Lando. Why would you give it back to him? You're in the championship.
Well, yes. I'm with you on that. Okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. We're having a Mark Webber Vettel situation, aren't we? That's what we're having. Because he's
and you're creating that situation for no reason because none of you are going to overtake Max. You need a 1.4 second delta to make an overtake. That's
a scandal, by the way.
We were on a track where I didn't know this, but obviously the smart bods that do analysis know all of this, whatever. Yeah, where the undercut and overcut didn't work because there was no tie deck.
Yeah. That's what they were saying.
So at the time when I'm watching the race, I'm like, why didn't McLaren go long with Lando? Or why did they pit Oscar first instead of Lando first and all that kind of stuff? They went down every avenue on that. Listen to the race podcast. He went down every avenue of strategy. None of them would have worked. None of the strategy options would have worked. If Lando goes long, he might lose position to Oscar and Leclerc.
Yeah. So
if he pits first, whatever, he gets stuck behind Behrman. If Oscar didn't pit at that time, he would have lost position to George because he would have been stuck behind Behrman.
But were we racing George?
No, but if you didn't pit at that time, you would have lost position to George. And this has nothing to do with tire deck or any overcut, undercut, nothing like that. It's literally because of the people that were already on track and who you'd be stuck behind if you pit at that time.
Yeah. And because
it had nothing to do with the tire or your out lap or in lap or nothing. It's literally about who's there. Where if you pit right now, who you're gonna come out behind.
Yeah, and if there was not many, do you know who did the most overtakes or who gained the most positions this weekend? Jack Doohan.
Yeah, Jack Doohan. Yeah, he gained 4 positions.
Four positions. Nobody did more than 2 in the race.
Yeah.
So once you get slotted in that slot machine, that is that. Does that answer?
Top six didn't change. Top six didn't even change position.
Didn't even change. Yeah.
George was trying to get ahead of Leclerc. He was getting. I saw an interview after the race. He was livid that none of the strategies worked. He said overcut would have worked, undercut would have worked.
Nothing would have worked. Yeah.
Overtake. You need 1.4 seconds. It's over.
This is it, man. Drea says Jolyon Palmer said, "Look, the pit stop was perfect, and he got everything out of that. But why he wasn't pitted first? Yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, and I think that's the policy. But like I said, I think what Mark Hughes said on the race, he said if they didn't pick Oscar, he would have lost positions with George, 100%.
Interesting. See, I didn't see it that way.
But I don't know. But this is what I'm saying. I can't see it that way during the race because I don't know what the gaps are of where you would, if you did pit, who you'd end up behind.
Who would you behind? Yeah, true. Do
you understand what I'm saying? So yeah. This is where I was kind of blindsided. I was going nuts at the strategy. But then when I listened to that podcast and I realized every single avenue of options was closed. And they were forced into the pit stop with Oscar because he was going to lose to George.
It was legit Monaco settings, as you pointed out.
How much times in Monaco do people get screwed over because they pit at the wrong time? Literally, because they got stuck behind somebody else. Not because they're tired or nothing like that. They literally got stuck behind the wrong person.
100%. Rosa says, look, were the drivers fighting Max or each other? Where are you on that? I genuinely think Oscar was trying to just be ahead of Lando. Max was a myth. Personally. And it was good to see. It was good for me to see that slyness of Oscar. Because it was kind of sly. He was quicker, but was it because Lando was preserving? Or was it Oscar genuinely quicker? And you know, Oscar's critique, what's been Oscar's criticism over the last couple of years? Tire degradation, looking after tires. Now he's on a circuit, on a track where no matter what you did, you couldn't flatten these tires.
Well, I think he was quicker in quali.
And he cooked him in quali.
And he was quicker. Obviously, he didn't capitalize it, though.
No, he didn't. But
he ended up qualifying behind him. And he was quicker in China as well. So it's not like a fanciful, mythical thing where it's not possible that he's quicker, because he's kind of proved that he's been quicker in certain sessions and certain races. But in that scenario, I will tend to trust Stella. Stella says he was chilling out, maintaining the gap. He's maintaining the gap, man.
Mate, Stella can tell me anything.
They've got the data on the pit wall, I believe.
Stella can tell me anything. Whatever he says, yes. I believe. Dion's got a few comments. Let's get through these. Yeah, we did screw up the strategy. Lando should have went long since Oscar tried the undercut. Had Lando went even one lap further, he would have come out in front of Max. Instead, he tried to pass him. It's kind of.
I'm not gonna pretend like I know. I don't know.
You were saying like that. It would have been the way. I mean. Like I said, we need to. Listen, Lando, you're our guy, but I need to test you this week. I need all the samples, blood, urine, the lot, because the idea and the thought of because it's not spoken about enough. What was he thinking going on that grass? Because I was gobsmacked when I saw that, and I said, "Well, what's the best outcome here? Just take Max out, or take yourself out? What's going on? Madness! It was actually a madness what he did." Dion goes on to say, history has proven that Lando is easier on his tires than Oscar. Why we didn't take advantage of that is beyond me. History has proven we are easier on our rears than other teams. Why not capitalize?
And then also says there was negative tire there. There was no tire.
There was none at all. What's really crazy, we went down this path of car designs to make them easier to overtake. Yet history has proven cars are now harder to pass than ever before.
Yeah, dirty air is back. This is basically 2021.
Thing is, two things. Dirty air is back, but also I would say the cars have got wider, right? Blatantly wider, but also at the end of a regulation cycle, we always get to this part where it's quite bunched up and quite packed and everything like that.
Yeah.
The overtaking, funny enough, right? Even like Bahrain, we will preview quickly. But Bahrain, for example, the last 3 winners have all won from pole. And what's the theme this year? Whoever starts on pole has won the race, including Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari. So, unfortunately, when everybody is kind of clued up with the regulation and the rules and everything else, overtaking was always going to be harder. By the end, that's why we had to change regulations.
2022, everybody was overtaking every 5 seconds.
Mate,
the regs, there was no day. Yeah, there was just driving around all over the gap.
You forget how good it was, mate. You forget how good it was. Very quickly, Piastri's performance. What could have been? What do you think? Like, more so, is it more so the quali side?
He will be thinking on that plane, thinking a bottled pole.
Yeah.
And the worst thing about bottling pole here is that you can't even make up for it.
Nah.
So that means he basically lost the win.
He lost the win. That man went to bed on Saturday, knowing they've lost the race. And on a
praying
RB,
for rain. They were praying for rain because rain. Then you could have. If there was rain in Japan, we could have done some overtakes. We would have got 1-2 probably.
Or on a RB. Who started on softs on the weekend?
Stroll got pitted twice. It ended up lost. I don't know what was going on.
That man hoping for the safety car. I don't know what they were doing. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. For me, Paul, you were so close, man. You were so close. Yeah. Z says, I think it was clear that Lando was deliberately maintaining the gap. That's what I genuinely thought.
That's what Speller's basically saying.
It's basically what he's saying. If I see an inkling of rain in Bahrain, weather forecast.
Nah, man. Bahrain in April.
No chance.
Very hot.
No chance. Drea says Oscar was 5 seconds in front of George, so why did we have to cover?
I don't know. Listen to the race podcast review of
Mark Hughes. We refer you to Mark Hughes.
Mark Hughes. I refer you to Mark Hughes. I didn't say that. Mark Hughes said it.
Mark, you said it. Right. Pit crew out of 10. Before we preview very quickly the
10 out of 10. Wait a second. They didn't won the race. Imagine Red Bull did a 3.9 pit stop and we did what we did. The pit crew won the race. They put in a pit stop that was worthy of winning the race.
What was the fastest time?
I'm just checking now.
Because I was concentrating on the max pit stop at the time. And
then all I know is Red Bull in top 10, boy.
Yeah, and then when they came out to have that little collision, and we got Charles Leclerc's pit stop. What was that about? F1 TV. What were we doing there? Well, the TV director.
We got 2 pit stops in the top 4. 2 fastest pit stops.
Oh, superb. 10 out of 10.
So we got Ferrari had the fastest pit stop with Hamilton, and then Piastri, Russell, Norris.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. They're giving them 9s. I mean, if you've got
fantastic work, man.
You got 2 in the top 4, and it was
2 in the top 4 is rare. Remember them times where we used to get the fastest pit stop, and then we would be celebrating and give them a 10 getting the fastest pit stop.
Yeah,
never did we get 2 in the top 4.
Do you know who the other one would be? Yeah, where the other pit stop.
The other one would be nowhere for like 3 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, man.
So that's a good pit stop. Fantastic. We're back in the groove
in a while. Yeah, we've not done top pit stops in a while, man. Dre says, look, I heard Mark. I always hear him, but I also watched live timing, and there was 5 seconds, and I was shocked when they pitted Oscar first, while Lando was just 1.4 behind. Whilst Lando was just 1.4 behind.
I don't know how it works.
It's beyond our measurement.
Dre, I'm not a strategist. I can't do it, man. I ain't got the capability.
Got the capacity.
Do the maths. I think it was something to do with another car being in the way where they boxed. If that makes sense.
Where they boxed. You meant behind Max? Yeah, 1.4 behind Max. 2.3 is good, but if it was a 2.1, we would come out ahead. Steady, TSJ.
No, man. Why are we doing this?
That's what we're doing. Pit crew 10 out of 10. Pit wall. You know what I mean? 5 out of 10. We lost the pit. The pit wall lost the race. Period. Oh, strong stuff from Dion. Ferrari has been acing their pit stops. Yeah, they have been. That's one good thing you could say. But yeah, I'm going to give them a 10. They're getting a 10 out of 10 for me.
Dion, name me a successful undercut in the top 10. That works.
We'll wait. Strategists. Do they have a part to play in this?
Nullified. What strategy was we doing?
There was no strategy. It was their day off. And
clearly nothing works for anybody else. Why would it work for us?
And then in quali, to be fair, the drivers were put out fine. The drivers made the mistakes and didn't capitalize. That's what you can really say.
The thing is, when we're like fighting for P5, P4, P3, whatever, yeah. if you make a mistake in quali, you'll drop to that. What's the difference between P3 and P4? It's not even that much, whatever. Right now, where if we make a mistake, we lose pole. The stakes are high.
So high. So high.
So the mistakes are punished more. Like before, it was like, okay, I should have put a P4 lap together, but I got P6. We wouldn't really care. No. But when it's pole, people care now. And this is where the people that have been fighting at the front for so long have got that experience. They know the jeopardy.
Yeah.
They know certain tracks you need to get pole.
Are you leaving the strategist out of this?
What if no strategy could work for most of the teams? I don't know what Strat was doing. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
If there's no tire deck. This is why they have to. This is why they even announced it today. They're bringing the softest in the range to Imola because without tire deck, what is strategy do?
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. Without any tire deck, what are they actually doing? And shout out to Nom said that. Look, I'm just waiting for a warm track with tire deck before I can judge the team.
Give me Bahrain, please, tire deck.
I want Bahrain in the day. Give me in the daytime, man. Let's go to the day for a day.
Them tires. I want to feel forced.
I need to fry an egg on them tires. I need a proper deck. Drea says pit crew 9 strategy. Even if it's not worked, they should have tried. I'd say 7. Damn.
Okay. Let's try for the sake of trying.
In that race, there wasn't one, but there was no one close enough during the pit stops to make the overcut work. However, as I stated earlier, history has proven we are easier on our tires than others.
Yeah, but
I think everyone
should leave Lando out there till the last lap and then box him like Albon in Australia a couple of years ago. Maybe that'll work.
It's like they forgot him. Strategist is hard to judge. Drivers then. Let's start things off with Lando Norris. Where's Lando Norris in your out of 10 this weekend?
Well, we have to compare him to his standards, isn't it? So
yeah, that's it.
I'll say 7.
I think that's
6, 6.5. I don't know.
I'll go 7.
Nothing. I thought he was a step behind his teammate up until Q3.
Yeah. I think you're right, but I think because of the results and how things were, he did finish ahead of Piastri in the race and in quality.
That was his job. Yeah,
that was his job. 7.5 for me.
I'll say 7.
7.5. What about Oscar Piastri?
I'll say 7 as well. I feel like I can't really rate him this week.
It's tough, isn't it?
They both failed to get pole.
As we're talking,
the whole job, Peter, is to have two good drivers. If one fails, the other one picks it up.
Yeah,
them man both fell over.
They both fell over. I'll give them both a 7.5. I think Oscar should get the same rating as Lando because there were good bits about Lando over Oscar in terms of the results, and there were good bits about Oscar over Lando. What we saw, like the story of the race, the story of qualifying. I think you're right, but as I've listened and been going, as we've gone through this podcast today, I understand why people found this race sucked. Do you know what I mean? And even just the fact that there was no, I mean, from when there's no strategy that could have worked in anything, that is a damning indictment of Japan, of the Suzuka track.
Yeah. But even in Monaco, if you mess up your pit stop or you can hit with an overcut.
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah. It's true. Why do our drivers start on the same tires? Or can't we afford to take that risk? It's a good question. It's a good question. That's a good question. We used to. Yeah, should we let them spice it up? I don't know. It's a good question. And I like the prophetic picture that he's got there of the McLaren ahead of the Red Bull.
As long as our two cars stay... Oh, not two cars. As long as Oscar and Lando stay close to each other in the championship, and it looks more and more likely it's going to be a championship between them two, then you're going to see a divergence of strategy because then it will be Lando's side of the garage versus Oscar's side of the garage.
Yes.
Then you're going to see a divergence of strategy because then they're going to be, then they're racing each other. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that'll be brilliant to look at. That'll be brilliant to see. Very quickly on the last ones. Z says 7 for Lando, 7 for Oscar. One of them should have been on pole without a shadow of a doubt. Rosa says Lando 7.5, Oscar 7.5. TSJ awesome. Lando 7, Oscar 6.5. Z, I want a 1-2 this weekend. No friggin' excuse. Let's get into the Bahrain.
I swear to you. I swear to
that now.
I swear to you, it has to be 1-2. Don't get me mad. There is literally no other answer apart from 1-2.
We've never won here. We've never been on pole.
I don't care. I don't care. I know the Bahraini prince is speaking to these guys right now saying, "You better."
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's like 1-2s in China, but not your home race. Put it in 1-2 right now.
That's the thing. It's the home race. Oh my god! Dion is on fire. We knew this would be the case. However, that race, Lando went even one lap longer.
Put the comment already.
Oh, did I put this one already? Oh, okay. I don't recognize it.
Let me read it. Hold on. I don't.
You said, however, in that race, we had Lando went one lap longer. He would have been dead even with Max when he came out because of the slow stop by Red Bull.
But that's assuming the slow stop will happen. Maybe the slow stop happened because they saw Red Bull,
McLaren pit at the same time.
In the pit at the same time. This is game theory, man.
Remember, gents, I've been watching Formula 1 longer than the two of you combined. Do you know what? I beg to differ. Nothing personal, but I'm probably the only one in the chat that saw Bruce McLaren race. I all met the man himself.
That's true.
Listen, doff your caps to you on that one. That's for damn sure.
Respect you on that one.
Respect you on that one for sure. From potential, Oscar dropped the ball more. It's difficult. He cooked the medium tires again, lost a lot of time there, and was therefore pitted first. I'll give him a 7. Lando 7.5. Bahrain Grand Prix. What's yours? Is a 1-2.
A 1-2.
Damn. I'm gonna go.
I'm standing up the whole race, no emotion.
I think we've got standing proper African dad settings. I'm going 2-3. I'm going 2-3 again. I don't think we'll win this race. I don't think we'll win this race, bro. Listen, I can't have been. We've been in Bahrain for 13 years, and you mean to tell me we've not had a pole or a win? Maybe 2011 they didn't have it there, right? But what 12 races?
No, Bahrain Grand Prix since 2004, bro.
It's outrageous.
That's 21 years.
It's outrageous. It's outrageous, man. Yeah, for arms folded. Take that back. Listen,
we did not. If you look at triple headers last year, we were not good.
No. And Z, the data is telling me.
Should I tell you what happened in triple headers last year?
Talk to me.
Spain, Norris fumbled. Austria, we already know about Austria.
Yes.
Norris
Crashed, yeah, DNF.
Then Silverstone. We don't want to speak. Then the next triple header was Kota. Norris was assassinated by Max Verstappen. Then the race after that was Mexico. Norris was assassinated by Max Verstappen. then the race after that was Brazil. Let's not speak on Brazil.
Let's not talk about Brazil.
Then the last triple header was Vegas. Car was terrible. Second one was Qatar. We got a 900 minute penalty to Lando.
Yeah,
got cooked. The last one of the triple header, we won the championship, but Oscar got assassinated in Abu Dhabi.
And we nearly lost that championship. We won it by the skin of our teeth on that day.
So that's our record in triple headers.
Yeah,
we ain't got to a good start.
Yeah,
we got a semi-good start.
Maybe we might. There might be a poll in there. I don't know, but
no, man. I'm saying 1-2. I don't know what you're on about. I'm saying 1-2.
Bahrain will be the best race of the three. Let's have some. At least of that.
Bahrain you can overtake.
Let's have some of that for you. Facts. Yeah. Oh, that's true. Very good point. Right, guys, that wraps up this week's McLaren Fan TV. We'll be back next week. By the way, it might have to be Monday because we've got a women's game on Tuesday. That's right. So, yeah, it's a madness. We might do it on Monday.
We're switching up, guys. We had a Wednesday this week.
And then we had a Wednesday this week. Yeah, I know. But, probably a Monday next week, all things considered, all things dependent. But, mate, it's been a pleasure, as always. What's the Barca score going to be tonight? TSJ is also asking.
3-0.
Hey, Dortmund are going to hold corn, man. What? Dortmund are about to hold it tonight. They're about to hold it tonight.
Maybe I've jinxed myself now, man. Okay, 0-0.
What do you think? Final? You think you're there? No,
I don't think so.
What Inter? You think Inter's going to give you a bit of a? It's going to give you a bit of a trial, yeah.
Don't think the offside trap's going to work, really, no. We'll see what happens in it. They don't even attack anyway.
Thank you guys for joining us this week. We'll be back next week talking all things Formula One and McLaren. Until next time, people, peace. We are